Door's open. Hi, if you could just go ahead and close that behind you, that'd be great. And if you could just go ahead and take a seat across from the desk. I'm going to go ahead and assume you know why you're here since you responded to the calendar invite. Alright, the annual reviews. I normally don't give them myself, but we are a little understaffed with Brenda being out on her maternity leave, so I will be handling your review. Jenkins, right? Oh, it's not? Not that it particularly matters. Yeah, I have your file right here in front of me, but this email is a little bit more important. However, I do know how to multitask, so we should be able to get through this pretty quickly and succinctly. Do you have any questions? Good. Now, from what I saw over the brief glance I gave to your file, you work up in the administration department. And how do you feel that's been going? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So no issues then? Well, sounds like we really don't need to continue with the review then if you're not having any issues or don't see any problems happening upstairs. What? You want to discuss your performance? Why do you feel your performance has been lacking? Yes, I am aware of what typically goes on in a review. However, being the CEO, I really don't have the time to sit here and coddle entry-level office workers. So if you don't have any issues to bring up, you don't see any issues happening in your performance, I haven't heard that there's been any issues, so I'm not really sure what you are hoping to gain from a longer review. Yes, I am listening still. I am perfectly capable of typing an email to an important client while also holding a useless conversation with an office employee who feels the need to keep asking unnecessary questions. You have questions about your performance? All right, let me just tab over to your file. I don't see any negative reviews from your superiors, nor do I see any comments about concerns with your productivity. Do you have any other questions then? What is it? You want to know my review of your performances? Well, I'm not your immediate supervisor now, am I? How am I to know anything about your performance at your daily job, let alone see for myself exactly what you get up to during the day? If you have those questions, I recommend taking it up with your immediate supervisor. Yes, that is an astute observation. I am, in fact, the CEO of this company. I'm not sure how that pertains to this particular matter. I do know what all of my employees are doing. Why do you think you have a direct supervisor that works under me? They're the ones that supervise your work, and then they report back to me, and I determine whether or not you're still useful to the company. Do you have any further questions or misunderstandings on this very simple topic? All right. I can see you will not leave until I give you an ounce of attention. What is it that you need to discuss about your review? And by all means, please feel free to get to the point and not move at a snail's pace about this. You think I don't care? What makes you think I don't care? Oh, see, you misunderstand me. You're right. I don't care about your life, your job, whether or not you stay at this company. I do, however, care about the well being of this company, and if you are performing at least a little bit above the average level, especially for your job title, I don't see what the problem is or why we even need to continue this conversation. You are correct. I am the CEO. What about it? Why would I care about the meaningless lives of people in positions that are beneath me? I hire people to care. Well, you see, as the CEO, it's my job to care about much more important things than whether or not you're comfortable with your review. Nothing bad was said about you. You are doing a perfectly average job. So, if you have no true concerns, I have a lot to get to today. Well, I can see this is a conversation you would like to drag out a little bit longer. All right, fine. You have my attention. So, what is it you would like to discuss with me, the CEO of this company, who is much busier than you will ever be, that cannot be discussed with your immediate supervisor, who is more intimately aware of your job performance? I don't see how that's a relevant question to your review, your performance, or what is going to go forward with your career here. In fact, some people might consider that a disrespectful question to ask of somebody in a much higher position of you as to why they don't care about the lives of people in positions beneath them. But fine, I will indulge you just this once, and then I would prefer you get out of my office and go back to your meaningless job that you care about so much. So, I'll tell you, I don't care what goes on in your daily life here. I don't care about outside drama. I don't care about your life. All I care about is whether or not you were able to do your completely average job at the bare minimum of an average level. Now, you have received no negative comments, nor do any of your supervisors have any concerns for your performance. With the amount of money I make and the amount that I oversee for this company, I have much bigger and more important things to care about. And as somebody that likes money and is good at making it, I really don't intend to have distractions, especially from hourly waged employees who really don't know their place. I can say whatever I want. I'm the boss. You don't have to agree with my methods, and you don't have to like the way that I run things. If you really have a problem with it, by all means, update your resume and clean out your desk before the end of the day. So, do you have a problem with how I run things here? Good. Is there anything else you would like to discuss today? Because I have a lot of important work to get done, and right now, you are keeping me from doing that work, which, coincidentally, is work that allows you to even have a job here. Sweetheart, I'm gonna spell this out in terms that I hope you can understand at this point. I do not harbor silly emotions like empathy or sympathy or genuine care for other people's well being. I care about what I can do for this company and what it can do for me. So the more work I put into this company, the more it gives me in return. And right now, you are preventing me from doing that work, which is preventing me from getting what I want in return. So, have I dumbed it down enough for you to be able to understand? Good. If you have nothing else to discuss, the door is over there, and be sure not to slam it on your way out. Excuse me? Would you mind repeating that for me again? I'm not so sure I heard you. See, there was a lot of audacity in your tone for that question, and frankly, I really don't have the time for that, and you are severely testing my patience. I do have patience. However, I don't have an extremely deep wealth of patience, and right now, you are certainly on your way to making sure that patience runs out completely. Why does it surprise you that I have any patience at all? Please enlighten me. I'm just dying to know what a little ant in this company thinks about me, someone who holds a lot more power, influence, and makes more in a year than you will probably ever see in your life. So, by all means, get your feelings out if that's what you think will be a productive use of your time right now. See, it's questions like that that let someone like me know a position of power would be far too great for somebody as weak minded as you. And there are many things wrong with having an excess amount of feelings. You don't get to be in a place like I am at if you let your emotions rule who you are. Things like sympathy, or even worse, empathy, are only things that will get in your way. Emotion is the direct juxtaposition to logic, and you cannot do things at 100% efficiency if you allow something as trivial as emotions rule any of the decisions that you make. All emotions do, and all they serve, is to just bring us down and make us weak. And if being weak is something you have no problem being perceived as, that is your prerogative. I, however, refuse to be seen as weak, and frankly, I don't have time for emotions to get in the way and muddle my goals, ambitions, and everything that I have planned to achieve. Happiness. My dear boy, how naive you are. Where do you think happiness is going to get you in this world? Happiness will not provide a roof over your head. It's not going to put food on your table. And it definitely won't make sure that you have money to live on after you retire. That is, if somebody in such a low position as you will even be able to retire, considering it seems you have no further ambitions in your life to get farther ahead than you are now. Oh, did that offend you? See, you are far too weak to ever rise in a position higher than a simple office worker at a Fortune 500 company. At most, you might make an office manager, but you'll never rise to something as a supervisor. And the thought of you being a CEO? Don't make me laugh. You can think I'm as cruel as you want. Again, your opinion of me doesn't matter. What matters is I'm in a position of power because I know how to get here, and I know I deserve it because, unlike you, I don't let such silly things like emotion rule my life. You feel sorry for me? Well, I don't really care how you feel, but I can tell that you're just dying to tell me why, so By all means, why do you feel sorry for someone like me? Someone who has gotten everything she's ever wanted because I have the work ethic to do so. Love? What does love have to do with anything? Oh, wait. I want to guess. You're gonna say something along the lines of, no life is worth living if you don't have love in it. Please. You'll sound exactly like my mother. Love is for fools. It's for those weak of mind who live their lives listening to anything their heart tells them to. Well, guess what? The world doesn't care what you feel in your heart. No, what it's going to do is it's going to chew you up, spit you out, and then laugh in your face for having the audacity to even think you could get far in life by living that way. And something as silly as love? Well, that'll put you on the fast track to failure faster than anything else in this world. Please, I would much rather be alone the rest of my life and successful than fall for the traps of love and live a life that has no meaning to it, that has no future, because there's no power, there's no money, there's nothing to actually sustain you through this life. So, no, your naive thoughts about love and happiness, they are not going to get you far. No, what they do is prove to me that you are weak and you will never rise higher in life than where you are right now. So tell me, are you happy? Do you get a sense of fulfillment knowing that you make an entry-level job salary? That the biggest ambition in your career is whether or not you've shredded enough paper, gotten enough coffee for people, or even looked at the same report over and over again, trying to find spelling errors. You are happy? Please. See, it's people like you that try to delude themselves into thinking they're happy because they have friends, they have a significant other. But tell me how happy you will be in 10 years when you can't afford a house, when you can't afford to put food on the table, when you don't have a retirement savings to make sure you have something to fall back on so you don't work yourself to the bone by the time you're 80 years old. You think it's worth it? As long as you have people that you love and who love you? Oh, I can tell this topic of conversation isn't going to go anywhere productive. So, before you really piss me off, I suggest you get back downstairs and return to this job that you seem to think is fulfilling enough for your weak, pathetic life. You think my life is pathetic? Then by all means, let's do a little comparison, shall we? Remind me again, who's the CEO between us, and who has an entry-level job as an office administrator? And before you answer, let me check your employee file here. Oh, yes. See, we're not that far apart in age. And yet, because I have the drive and ambition and don't allow things like emotions to clog my logical thinking, I'm much farther in life than you will ever be. But of course, I wouldn't expect somebody so lackadaisical about their own direction in life, someone who's so naive to the way that the world works, affect me with their opinion of me. And if you think something as trivial as love or affection can fill that hole in your life, you are sorely mistaken. Company, what about it? No, I don't typically desire the company of other people. Oh, I see what you're getting at. You mean like companionship? No. If I feel the need for a particular kind of companionship, I know exactly how to get what I need for the moment, and I leave before they wake up the next morning. And to avoid any messy feelings on their part, I never take them back to mine. I always go to theirs, so that I can control when the encounter ends, and I don't have to put up with any, oh, maybe we should get breakfast. This was nice. Maybe we should see each other again. No, moments like those are just a waste of time, so I do everything I can to avoid them, because all I need in that moment is a little stress release, someone to take my frustration out on, and I can leave before they wake up. Does that answer your question? The more you talk, the more childish I almost find you. It's very clear your mental maturity is nowhere near the level it needs to be in order to have an intelligent conversation with me. And to answer that last question you just asked, no, I don't ever crave intimacy. I don't crave affection. I don't crave to be taken care of, nor do I crave to take care of anybody else, except me. I am the only one that I care about. I am the only one that decides what my fate is. I'm the one that decides which direction my life will go and what will and won't affect how I get there. So, no, I don't crave these silly things that you talk about. Well, you see, not everybody is as weak minded as you are. Not everybody feels a spark with somebody that they spend the night with. And not everybody wants to have anything more than just a night together that doesn't involve emotions and more so just involves physicality. So, no, unlike you, I really have no desire to see somebody again after I've taken what I want from them. And I'm not just talking about somebody I spend the night with, I'm talking about everything. Once I've made my use of you, you can get out of my way. Because if I've already gotten what I need from you, you're just trash, and you do nothing to serve my life anymore. What an insane thing to say. Do you think about the words you're about to say before you say them, or do you just let them come out and hope for the best? Because who in their right mind comes to the conclusion of, I just haven't found the right person after I tell them all of that? What part of there is no right person because all love does is get in the way of ambitions and goals do you not understand? You think there's a healthy medium between those two things? Honey, if you're not spending 100% of your energy to get to the top, then you'll never get to the top. If any part of you is distracted or thinking about something as menial as love, emotions, or how you feel about somebody else, then you will never have what it takes to be in a position of power. Which is why I'm the one who's in charge, and you're just a pencil pusher. Oh, Did I offend you? I'm sorry. There. Did my apology do anything to make you feel better? Exactly. Then speaking of emotions is nothing but a waste of time. Oh, it would have made you feel better if it was a sincere apology. Well, then I guess you're just gonna have to get over the fact that it's not sincere because I don't care. I don't care how I make you feel. I don't care if you're offended or upset. You wanted a review? Here is your review. I think you are weak minded. I think somebody like you has a tendency to let their heart instead of their brain rule, which is why you are still in an entry level position while I am the one making the important decisions. You strike me as the type that seems to think that the world and the people in it owe you something because you have compassion. Newsflash, honey, the world doesn't care about what you think or what you feel. You need to be prepared for the fact that the world views you as an ant under its boot. So you either strengthen up and do what you need to do to survive that, or you allow yourself to be unhappy because your emotions were more important than setting yourself up for success. So if you find the way that I live my life offensive, or even if you have the belief that I, quote unquote, haven't found the right one to care about yet, I don't care. You can think whatever you want to think. That doesn't make something true, nor does it mean that you hold any leg in this conversation at all. Because at the end of the day, I'm the CEO. I have more power, more influence, more money than you could ever dream of. Because I worked for it. I'm an ambitious person. And thank God I don't think the way that you do. Because who knows where I'd be right now? I might be in the very same job you hold. And frankly, I don't view that as a life worth living. You think your life has more substance than mine? Oh, I would think that's adorable if I didn't think it was so stupid. Okay, well, since this seems to be a topic of conversation you feel very passionately about, what is it about my life that you think is lacking substance? And if you talk about emotions, I'll fire you on the spot, and I won't feel an ounce of regret, remorse, or guilt as I watch you walk out of my office with your tail between your legs and those sad little puppy dog eyes as you realize I was right and you now have nothing to fall back on. So for once, I implore you to use your logical and sound mind to think about what you are going to say before you say it and whether or not it's worth your job here. You think if given a fair chance, you can change my mind and my viewpoint on this matter? What kind of chance are you expecting to get then? Really? No. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You're offering to spend a night with me to prove that I'm wrong about this and that things like affection or even tenderness are important? My, you certainly have more balls than I thought you did. You realize you just propositioned your boss? Well, I have something better in mind. In fact, you know what the term compromise means, right? Oh, good. I was really hoping I wasn't going to have to explain the definition to that one. I'll make you a compromise. I'm not going to spend the night with you, but what I will do instead is show you right here, right now, why you're wrong. Because you see, you might think you'll even have time to show me what affection is supposed to look like, but what's going to happen is I'm going to ruin you before you even have an intelligent thought in that pretty little head of yours.